up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Billies our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe with the. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will happen under God blue skies. I love it make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize.
Morning, morning, morning. It's Monday morning here in Belize City. Well, around the world are still, well, for some people on a Monday. Well, that Belize, that Monday, April 28th, 2025, the start of a new work week. That if you're to work, or maybe to seek employment, or just to home to chill. It's Monday, we're here, we're present, ready for Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes talk show here at XTV simulcasting on Creme Radio, live streaming on YouTube, XTV Belize, and Facebook, XTV Belize. The for we time Belizean people. We had 2 days off. Monday to Friday, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, except on public and bank holidays. Howdy morning. On a win Lachi last night or yesterday morning. On a win, on a ending on a 4-digit numbers for them people who were into buying the numbers. And they give out the money, which I can't tell you nothing. Then they come up when they win. It's Monday morning, and you know the lineup. We asked that in the state till 9 o'clock this morning. Once we finish the first part of the preliminaries, which they usually the weather forecast by the National Meteorological Service of Belize. The forecaster this morning is Cristel Rosales. And then we're going our first news brief prepared by the XTV newsroom under the leadership of YaYa. And then we're going to take one quick break, come back, open up the phone lines, and a time for we reason with one another. So I could say if you continue to be kite breeze, sunny, and enjoying this beautiful weather. Count the weather around the corner, right? Lot of rain, hurricane season. But till then, we enjoy the sun and the breeze. Weather time.
Good morning. A somewhat moist east to northeasterly airflow prevails over the country. In the 24-hour forecast, skies will be sunny with cloudy spells today and then partly cloudy tonight. Shower activity will be generally isolated, especially over the south. And then high temperatures for today will reach around 86 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 93 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. For tonight, low temperatures will reach around 78 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 66 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 63 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to northeast at 5 to 15 knots, while sea conditions will be slight to light chop. And then high tides occur at 9:40 this morning and at 11:23 tonight. Low tides at 5:05 this evening and then at 4:23 tomorrow morning. The moon will set at 7:28 tonight and then rise at 6:51 tomorrow morning, while sunset is at 6:12 this evening, and then sunrise will be at 5:27 tomorrow morning. In the extended forecast for Tuesday and Tuesday night, there will be cloudy spells with isolated showers developing. In the fire risk forecast, the risk for forest and brush fires will be moderate to high for Tuesday. Then in the sargassum update, satellite imagery continued to show high concentration of sargassum over the area. Therefore, there is a high chance that more sargassum mats will continue drifting ashore during the next several days. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
The first Belize since 1989. Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
Anthony Andrew, a resident of Gales Point, Manatee, tragically lost his life after being bitten by a pig and bleeding out due to a major artery being severed. Reports are that Andrew was trying to chase out a pig that roamed into his yard when the pig became aggressive and bit him on the leg. He died while being transported for treatment. The pig was shot and burnt. The chairman of the village, Jason Alschaft, has indicated that some pig owners have been failing at keeping their animals penned. Andrew is described as hardworking and respectable resident. In a recorded statement Sunday, Belize National Teachers Union President Nadia Martin Callis informed that members will decide on Wednesday how they will express their dissatisfaction regarding several issues they have been trying to work out with the government. The Council of Management is seeking input from members after it was revealed that government CEOs were given a salary increase of 15% retroactive to March 13. The public workers are now asking for an 8.5% increase in phases.
You have emailed, texted, met me personally, and you communicate your frustration, and you've also shared that with your branch leaders. Now, as a responsible organization, we have decided that it is time for you to formally register that discontent. Again, being a responsible entity, we have notified our stakeholders of the action that we're about to take. Why? They are custodians of children. They need to know how to prepare on Wednesday. That memo that was sent out to our stakeholders in no shape or form is disrespectful. This is what we do when we're getting ready to register with discontent. We inform them. Now, we need for you to come out in record-breaking numbers on Wednesday. You know why, members? You ask us for that platform to formally register your discontent. And the only way we can continue is if you go out and you vote and you give us the mandate. Tell us the direction you want us to go. Because that is how the union operates when we're not happy. I say we because I'm a member of the union, especially you, the members. When you are not happy, because I'm not your leader, when you are not happy, you formally register that, you vote. Don't become discouraged because of that memo. You have a right. Now, how long will the meeting be? The meeting starts at 9. Your leaders will educate you on certain points. Then you get the opportunity to vote. As I was surprised on Friday when I received calls from teachers who have been working, were being paid, met the criteria for a new license before the expiration date, but somebody at the ministry did not notify the treasury. So our teachers were kicked out of the system and they were not being paid. And this has been happening now for 2 months. That should never happen because we have an agreement. Whose fault is that? So nobody can tell me that my teachers don't love the children that they teach. I'm looking forward to seeing those halls packed on Wednesday.
Saturday embarked on their annual trip to Gracias a Dios Falls off the Sarstoon River to commemorate the April 30, 1859 boundary treaty between the British and Guatemala. With the trip, the BTV highlights the history of territorial demarcation activities held in 1860 and 1861 when a limestone pyramid was erected on the north bank of the Sarstoon River at the rapids at Gracias a Dios. Another but fall. Here informed that the BDF provided departed Punta Gorda just before 8 a.m. and returned by 4 p.m. Meher reported that they had a successful trip and were not harassed by the Guatemalan armed forces. The volunteers paid tribute to 3 individuals during their visit by planting a tree in their honor. One was Orlando Williams, a surveyor who pointed out the borderline to them, Alistair King, who has always assisted with fuel, and Hector Bejarano, who first assisted in locating the border marker. Beloved fast food entrepreneur 34-year-old Skylar Williams from Belmopan passed away on Saturday after being involved in a traffic accident. The accident occurred after 4 p.m. on the George Price Boulevard while he was riding his motorcycle. Accompanying him was 26-year-old Chelsea Nicholson. On turning to head to a supermarket, reports are that he clipped the left front portion of a van traveling in the opposite direction. Williams died shortly after. A Mexican construction worker identified as Javier Torres fell to his death Saturday afternoon at his work site in the area of Secret Beach on Ambergris Key. Reports are that Torres fell several meters from the frame of a building being constructed. He sustained severe head injuries and was pronounced dead on arrival at the San Pedro Polyclinic. Meanwhile, police are investigating the death of a Canadian tourist who reportedly fell from the third floor of Watermark Hotel, also on Ambergris Key, today. He has been identified as 47-year-old Lauren Dale Radchenko. His body was discovered after 8 a.m. Surveillance footage shows him falling from the third floor at around 7:53 a.m. Reports are that he checked into the hotel Saturday night when he was accompanied by a woman. Later on, two men visited the room. They and the woman left the room at around 5 a.m. That's the end of this morning news brief. If you don't want to hear more news from XTV Creme Radio, you could tune in to 6 o'clock this evening, XTV, and then immediately after Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes this morning, from 9 to 12, we have Morning Stew on Creme Radio, and then at 12:30 there's a full news package on Creme Radio, at 3 o'clock a news brief, and at 5:15 a full news package. Finally, I know it. And then remember, for any of we programming, you could tune in to local channels, XTV, and then Creme Radio. And on YouTube, it's XTV Belize, and on Facebook, it's XTV Belize. We're going to take one quick break and come right back, make we reason up until 9 o'clock this morning.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports.
welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's our time to reason. The number at 280-5848. I don't know when I'll land the number 280-5848. On a call and on a talk about absolutely anything we want to talk about. Since I've been hosting for Brother Mosehide Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this month, but I notice for the most part I keep for week conversations all about Belize. I sure have a lot of time to talk about other things around the world, and I'm very aware that what happens around the world impact Belize. But to be intentional for talk about certain things what impact we everyday lives. And the two things I really want to stretch talking pan this morning. One, the money, and two, the literacy. Now, the minimum wage that Belize the $5 an hour. $5 Belize an hour. That's the minimum wage. And I believe the Public Service Union president say, and if I'm wrong, Brother could always call and correct me. But I'm pretty sure most public workers, government workers, they make most of them. Average, I think that less than $30,000 a year. I don't want to think that 20, so I want to say less than $30,000 a year. For the Belizean workers, where they make $5 an hour, then they make $11,700 a year. So we usually work 52 weeks for the year. So and we usually work 45 hours for the week. So when you multiply $5 by 45, you get $225 for the week. Think about it now. $225 for the week. I mean, if you work let's say a call center, and you make at least $6, $7, $8, maybe $10 an hour. But then we have to look at the cost of living. Okay, so we have to eat. And we know the price of goods steady climb because we don't have one good oversight as it relates to the whole country to ensure that people not a markup on goods where they have, and very few things have control prices. I feel that more things should have on control price, and there should be enforcement and stiff penalties. I know for a while, when they make news, some grocers were held accountable, blow over like a breeze. But the cost of everything they go, so you have to eat. So, and we import a lot of food where not healthy, but that's how this country come for be. You had colonizers, enslavers, landowners, merchants, and that they run things as far as the extraction of natural resources, mahogany, logwood, and then that then determine where products want to come in. And so that not change all in hundreds of years later. And most of the stuff not healthy for we eat. You could be clear upon that. Then you have to pay, you have to go a house. So that's why some people got some knock and stand up house, or what it's called dog sit down house. If they have family property, it's not adequate, create health issues, it's not good for the adequate development of human beings to live in such conditions. So you got housing. Then if for the rent, especially for people who live out district, or Conda Belize, or if you can't afford to live that Belize, you live from early in the morning from wherever they in the country for Conda Belize City, unreliable bus services. Well, no wait. Well, when the rainy season comes, well, worse our life get harder. People that live with diseases, illnesses, they don't have adequate health care. If they could access health care. Overall, the lives of Belizeans have not improved since the time of political independence. This not a work for we. It never designed for work, I not a work. No. Life don't dread for most of we. Real talk. Dread. We don't even want to talk about the mental illnesses, the abuses, what people live with generationally. Then we have people where a number of Belizeans keep voting for, and the both administration where they mismanage the public purse. Seriously, then they mismanage the public purse. Now, general elections are in March 12th of this year. For sure how much they not think about the Belizean people, they think about for themselves. And there's no justification for one to do as relate to the pay hike one to give on yourself, meaning CEOs and the cabinet secretary. So I want to run the numbers to know again. Now at the top about money in a, right now, because at the top about what most Belizean people make, where CEOs and the cabinet secretary they make, what ministers and junior ministers make. That upon top of Belize Electricity Limited applied to the Public Utilities Commission, the regulator for utilities in Belize. Then they beg for more money so that the increase enough for we electricity bill. Now, the way they word it, they're like, that found like 40, I think that 40 cents per kilowatt to 43 cents per kilowatt. I want to check it. Like 3 cents per kilowatt. Just 3 cents, but we not to get a sense. What then they ask for. Then they ask for over, and again, if I wrong, I stand to be corrected, but from my calculation, the reason what my sister yesterday morning, Jalima, the over $1 billion BEL, the ask for cause $1 million make $1 billion. And when I add up all the money where BEL the ask for, I get No, I wrong. Then not this, I mix up the money. I mix up the blue bond money, whether in the borrow enough for weenie, where we have to pay back, that over billion Belize dollars. Because $1 million, how you go? 1,000 million dollars equal 1 billion. So let's say one bill, that $1 million. 1,000 and then 1 million bills equal 1 billion Belize dollars. I confused because I don't know I can't calculate them one day. But I want to be clear on that. So no, BEL asked for a total of 506.6 million Belize dollars. You hear how much money then ask for? Thanks, Jalima. So Christy, if you could show, I believe I send that for you because I want to bring it back, make Belizean people. And this thing just in me, is stuck in my throat, right? Remember I told you I had some issues with BWS, one utility company. That is still outstanding. But before that, me and 2 community workers meet with representatives from the Belize Electricity Limited because they asked me for work with them for a Southside initiative. And before I go and meet with them, I do one quick research and I find out that they may ask for one tariff increase. I believe they asked for the tariff increase on the 4th of April, I think that was Friday. If I'm not mistaken, the next Friday, the 11th, they had one community reasoning 1 week later, and to my knowledge, they don't have no more community reasoning. PUC, the process this, and then we'll come back and tell we for them response to it, and then we could say what we got to say. But imagine this, right? Now this is a 91-page technical document. There was no community awareness about this BEL 2025 rate increase proposal. 395 million Belize dollars. BEL asked for new projects like better power lines and new equipment. 395 million Belize dollars. 46 million Belize dollars to keep things running in 2025. Now, salaries and repairs. Now, nobody not talk about a living wage to Belizeans. The majority of we for live for $5 an hour, but CEOs, cabinet secretary, BEL employees forget increase. So no, we for pay for it because we the majority owners in the utility companies that Belize. But we not see the benefit of being owners. 46 million Belize dollars to keep things running in 2025, salaries and repairs. And if that not enough, they want 65.6 million Belize dollars to correct past under collections from 2023. 65.6 million Belize dollars to correct past under collections from 2023. So how I understand it, we're in 2025, you know, but I don't make one copper miss. People will never pay their bills in a 2023, and I guess they have some collection process where they call you and tell you they never pay their bill. So they never collect, this is how I understand it, $65.6 million Belize from 2023. So imagine 2024 and then 2025. And so when you add up that 395 million, that 46 million, and that 65.6 million Belize dollars, BL asked for 506.6 million Belize dollars. So who you think will come up with 506.6 million Belize dollars? We. Now, they got to face a brass for, I just think then people just bowl no hell. For say, your light bill may go up slightly, about 3 cents per kilowatt, like that or nothing. Just, but now this have a cover 506.6 million Belize dollars. Like, who to look out for Belizean people interests? Who genuinely to look out for we interest? That's why we have to sleep with our own eyes, Belizean people. And that's why I want to always encourage, push forward knowledge, learning, reasoning. The more information, knowledge we have as Belizean people, the hope is that we could better understand for we realities and then see how we could organize and look after for we own interests. Because who to look out for, like genuinely, who to look out for the Belizean people? The political leadership have the responsibility for manage our natural resources and look after the interests of born Belizean, unborn Belizean. Because when you look on the blue bond, right, that one loan agreement where they call it one debt for nature swap. We had the super bond, we owe $553 million is what we owed in the super bond. That 553 million US dollars, to my understanding, they call it one euro bond, we owe commercial debt. That the one with the billion. Because 553 million US dollars will be over 1,000 million Belize dollars, right? So that over $1 billion Belize dollars would have been the super bond. Again, this is just lay person. Yeah, I mean, I don't know math person. If I say something wrong, anybody could call and correct me. Teach all I will, make all I will learn. Now, Belize, through the Nature Conservancy, the largest environmental organization in the world, now then get into money business. I have UEF, UBAD Educational Foundation, the consciousness arm of Zinc Fence, and Belize Federation of Fishers, BFF, who advocate for fisher folks and fishing families in the country. Since 2025 started, once a month, we have one Blue Bond awareness campaign. Why? Because we have to pay back the money. Unborn Belizeans have to pay back that 344 million US dollars plus interest, so that over 728 million Belize dollars over like 19 to 20 years time. Now we still can't show what we get for that super bond. Indeed, they shave off some money because this is how I understand it, right? We owe the people any money. They're going to borrow the money in a Belizean people name. Belizean people can't show where every 1 cent gone for say that we get value for the money we get borrow in a what we call the super bond. So the lenders say, listen, Belize got a track record of how to pay. They pay a little bit, then they say they can't pay no more. Recognizing that COVID-19 didn't happen and bulk of we money come in from tourists. So they say, you borrow $1, if you pay back $1 plus interest. But since it's a hard pay, and rather than we not get none of our money back, we want to take, instead of $1 for $1 plus interest, we want to take, I think the 45 cents to the dollar. I think that's how you go. Instead of taking $1, I think that's 45 cents. I hope I don't get the confusion of 55 cents. But anyways, they shave it off, right? So instead of paying back 553 million, what would have been paid back instead was 364 million US dollars, right? So that's the difference. With the $364 million, Belize gone, without telling Belizean people, make a deal with the Nature Conservancy, who create another company for do the transaction, and then through Credit Suisse gone and private investors like insurance companies, pensioners, or people who represent pensioners and say, listen, we need this money, we need to invest this money over a period of time. This is the money we want to give back. Now remember, now Belize got bad name out a road for now pay back their money. So they say, no worry, man. And then they have this Moody ratings where if you pay back your money per time, you get one high credit rating. If you're known for not pay your money per time, you get bad credit rating, and then nobody don't want to touch you. So for sweeten the pie, for private investors, say we want to put up the money for get the $364 million US, where and be the new debt for Belize. The international DFC. I keep forgetting what DFC means. Something, somebody help me. We have DFC that Belize too. My mind just gone blank. Anyways, DFC, International DFC, that is International Development Bank for Development Finance Corporation. International Development Finance Corporation, that is U.S. International Development Bank. For get lenders, for lend with the money, for pay off with debt, the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation take out one insurance, it's called a political risk insurance, for $610 million US. That cover the principal and the interest. So you hear the loan that for $364 million US plus interest, but International Development Finance Corporation for the United States take out one political risk insurance for $610 million US. So once the investors say then kind of insurance there, and a two kind of insurance, they have another one, so if there's hurricane, the money still covered. Then gonna make that up. That kind of insurance never exists before. Belize I'm a real guinea pig when it comes to this particular debt for nature swap, what they call the blue bond. I know how to stretch talking, we're not calling yet. But I read a lot, I research and talk to people. The only way I want to know if I learn, if I get it, that if I share it with you know. Then if I make a mistake, if I need clarity, if there's more information, I'll call you what we talk about it. But we Belizean people, that we to pay this loan. And what happened is UEF worked with some international students at the University of Antwerp last year. And they looked at the blue bond from a human rights perspective. And what I say is, you have to look at how this country came to be. As my co-host for Sunday Review said, Brother Akko, most of them countries birthed in violence. Birthed in violence. Remember that. So really, the place never, this territory, the people, the intention was never for we develop to be with full self as human beings, to have the best quality of life. No. They have what they call one capitalist economic system where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And most of the time, people what they would say would be in the global south, below the equator, that the extraction of we natural resources, human labor, make them people what they call themselves first world country, primarily in the north, global north. That for we blood, sweat, tears, suffering, make them could live their first world life there. For the most part, that's the reality. I try to break it down as simple as possible without the confused way. For said this stuff for we business, because the government keep the borrow money like that the any way for live. Just we want just borrow money, borrow money, borrow money, borrow money. There's no meaningful conversation to say, listen, we don't have to tighten for we built. We done the so far already, but we have to stop the borrow, because we can't live just to borrow money for the rest of our life. And then we not even say the value of the money that's being borrowed, but we, the Belizean people, on high water, have to pay the money back. So the students then say from the legal clinic that the state then prioritize paying back the debt. Say, International Development Finance Corporation for the U.S. get the insurance, right? So they make sure the principal and the interest covered. Now, even after, let's say Belize default upon the loan and the insurance cover it, then because of the agreement with the government of Belize signed with them and not tell we all the details of it, then could still come to Belize again and say we still want the money we want to borrow. We still want, then could still carry with our U.S. court and still ask, I think, for the $364 million US dollars. We don't have no choice, Belizean people. We have to pay it. But we not see the value. But you got CEOs, you got cabinet secretary, you have BEL, then the comfort for them plumb of flesh. What we for do? How long you think people want just sit and people are dead, they suffer with children for the most part, and adults, literate, functionally illiterate? What we for the Belizean people? Because nobody gonna genuinely look out for we. And this that are real. The state had an obligation before they negotiate with the Nature Conservancy about this debt for have one education campaign and teach Belizean people, get buy-in from Belizean people. Now, according to the Nature Conservancy, they had to keep it negotiation secret for like 18 months. So what TNC say, when you got a break and pull it up and show no, so that all year is so no, so that's what they say. Now, me can't hold TNC account, but I'm a United States Environmental Conservation Organization, then look after them and for their interests. We have to hold the government of Belize accountable. This administration, where not a lookout for we and Belizean people, we have to stop with foolishness and the kiss up behind politicians and their lackeys. Like, then not do nothing for, then they look out for them and people for the most part. What should then quality of life before they get into politics and after they get out of politics? And after they're not generational politicians, because they have generational politicians. This not a work for we. And so I said to Belizean people, we have to organize, we have to gain the knowledge, we have to look after our best interests. So I asked one brother who usually communicate with me, because I say, okay, let's say I raise the minimum wage from $5 an hour to what's called a living wage. I want to make up one number. Let's say the living wage at $20 an hour. That means with one $20 an hour living wage, we could live in a adequate housing, have access to health care, like what they offer at private hospitals. Our children could get the kind of education what they offer at private schools. We could put our money in a savings if there's an emergency. We could take one vacation every year with our entire family. We'd live like human beings ought to live. But then I say, but if they have one living wage, they could just raise the price of goods, and then we not feel the benefit of our living wage. So I asked somebody this morning, like, how you rectify that? And share with you know what the person said to me. Now remember now the phone number at 280-5848, you know? You shouldn't get me to talk so much. I talk about nearly 15 minutes, you know. Make I wet my throat with some water. And so this is what the individual said to me when I asked her this morning. Morning, my sister Owani from Palmetto Grove. Enter on go to Ugadan Hopkins. On try contact my sister at Palmetto Grove and stay there. It's really worth it. It just text me. That's why they give me. I'm telling you. That's why I just tell you now. Most Belizeans don't have the opportunity for traveling in the country. We don't have no disposable or extra money. We just to survive, hand to mouth, for eat every day. Make sure the lights stay on. If you got water, make sure the water stay on. That just stay in a survival mode. And I know, yes, some of us still got money for drink and smoke and do whatever, gamble and whatever we want to do. Yes. Not because you're impoverished mean that you can't have enjoyment. You're not a human being. I don't judge nobody. We don't always make the best choices regardless of the amount of money we will make. Because people will make bag of money do the same thing too. So when you try to call me and tell me about my working class people, how they choose to relax. That's the cash, I don't know. Okay, make I tell you what the brother say. Well, asked about. It say, indeed, government of Belize would have to cap or limit the profit percent write-up for certain goods. Normally, the staples which would be placed on a consumer's protected basket of goods, rice, flour, sugar, milk, beans, eggs, meat, fresh and canned, vegetable, corn, certain medications, certain fuel. Those sell a lot every day, so suppliers will make a profit. In order to balance revenue collection, government of Belize can then put higher taxes on salaries and allowances above a certain threshold. Also on luxury, expensive SUV, jewelry, alcohol, cigarettes, fashion clothing, weapons, certain size TV, gambling, etc. Every quarter, when SIB presents the cost of living report, a price index adjustment should be done on the food staples. Now, this are we just the reason about we really should be advocating for an increase in a minimum wage to a living wage. And along with that, like what the brother just suggests, for ensure that there are more controlled prices and more products, because we don't have a lot of products, we have controlled prices. There should be a limit to how much profit business people make. There should a reasonable profit. Like you can make a money and live comfortable. You don't have to have these 100, 200, 300% markup. Mike, people make $5 an hour. One lot of Belizean people not even the work. They're not the work. I say one they take bad thing, make joke. Somebody sent me this thing this morning, right? And I really got issue when Africa, identifiable African descendants, that the butt of the joke. But anyways, somebody asked this man, you know, what is going on with your youth thing? So he said, I have 4 sons. I think he said, I have one engineer, one where they work for a master's degree, and one where I want a lawyer. And he said, I one where I want a thief. So the person said, why you still Leopold a thief in your house? He said, he's not the only one where they work. He's not the only one where they work. So having colonial papers or degrees not guarantee you no job. The mindset of the enslavement education system, the government system, which is a church-state system, that not about you learning your worth as a human being, you accepting yourself as the being that the Creator created, finding out what your gifts, your talents are, know that you have everything where you need, that you could create the solutions to everything where you need for having quality of life. You don't have to go work for somebody. You could create work for yourself and take pride in it. So, I'm going to literacy. Yesterday, we replayed a conversation we had in July last year with a sister who is the owner of a private school in Placencia, and the principal. Her name is Sister Loretta Logan Sierra, born Belizean, come from a working class family. It talked about how his dad never literate and how his grandpa really encouraged her and the people in the community support her. We also had Sister Doc Rosalind Bradley, and their conversation is always timely, it's always meaningful. And so we're looking at literacy. And one number we feel that literacy is just reading, but literacy that not just how fluent you can read, how accurate you are in your reading. It's also about reading comprehension. It's about how you to have the ability for communicate, for reason, the importance of active listening, the confidence that you have for engaging a communication, how you all of that come under literacy. And so one of the things, and if you pay attention, right, like I remember I noticed this as a child in a primary school. Belizean Americans would have sent their children or grandchildren home for the summer. And you know, the same class or the same age group. So on the talk about, well, what for the school stay like, and what do, and even though they talk English, we could hear that they have the ability, that they're able to express themselves in our way were different from we. So, another big reveal with the conversation yesterday is that English that a language of this country, but English is not the first language for majority of Belizeans. You have people who talk Creole, Garifuna, Mandarin, Spanish. People's first language in this country is not English. So we are English as a second language learners, and that's important for know when you teach literacy. But that no, the mindset of the Ministry of Education has not been. So the majority of Belizean students for years keep to get promoted from one class to the next and are not literate. All the way up to university level are not literate. Now you think the Ministry of Education don't know this? And if they don't know, then they feel wasara because they were in job that for notice. I really encourage Belizeans to go to XTV Belize on YouTube and XTV Belize on Facebook and look at that Sunday review from yesterday. I encourage Belizean teachers, Belizean principals, school leaders. I mean, these are two different generation educators, but seasoned and the talk raw. The importance of people have to feel uncomfortable for the kind of changes that we want to see. Parents, guardians, we the fail Belizean students. The students, they don't have what it takes for compete at home or internationally for the most part. I can't talk about the one or two we get through. The one or two that are the measuring stick for the majority. One or two we get through. Kind of leave it. Every year I want, decade after decade, every year I want to leave it get through. Our father, he left, he get for him colonial papers in 1967. At the time, the graduates from that class there, that made the last set we get certification. Then in 1968, then give out diplomas. Now, this is just to show you, and I think Belizeans made a go for colonial papers must have from maybe the 40s. But somebody could call and make a note, 2805848. Now, and our dad, human like everybody else, and I'm sure I hear people complain about us as a surveyor because I know he got flaws like anybody else. But when I look at our father is going to be 85 next month. To birthday that May, but with another same sign. I had 17 and 29. We're proud of our father. Very proud of our father. If you look upon her, he look like one Spanish man. He identifies as a black man because he married one black woman. He raised up with black cultures and values. He never raised up with a pa. We have one small group of Marin family. As you look upon it, they look like Spanish people, but then I'm a first, second cousin. They're not a lot of them, but what about? So, when Daddy gone to school, and again, he come from a mother who never finished primary school, respect to her ancestress, Georgia McSweeney. Our pa sell bread and bun through the streets of Belize City. The working class people with the top we born 1940. So the working class people we come from, sweet south side Belize City. So he was one of the few, just like how, and Daddy come back 67. I believe when X come back, I think X come back 60, no it can't be 68. Then I think in a different generation though, X birthday that Wednesday. I know Daddy older than X. Yeah. Daddy older than X. Because Daddy 85 and X one be 78. So I just say, oh, I need some water. What I do, I show we Belizean people how the only Libita people get to have colonial papers. And colonial papers, some people feel put you in a better position for one, literate, so you navigate the world better, you understand your community, your family, the world differently. and then you could engage for the betterment a community should be, not just for you and for your family, for your community, kind of community investing in you, for you get to the space where you could go get an opportunity to get colonial papers called degrees. Now, Sister Elma Whitaker Augustine, original UBAD member, wife of Brother Cliff Augustine, who is now an ancestor that he for we summer film camp named after, make a good point when I'm in the country a couple of weeks ago. She said, yeah, when we gone to school, none of we teachers never got colonial papers. None. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. We mastered it. We know it. And then we were the good in standard 6, give one opportunity for them to go teach. So I said to you that colonial papers degree no means say you're intelligent. No means say you know it, because look how much people got colonial papers in the education system. Our children are consistently being promoted, most of them, and they're not literate. Like, what we the Belizean people? We're not literate. We're not make enough money to have decent quality of life. What will happen in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? We don't know ourselves as a people. When the history of this country starts, that from the colonial, primarily European point of view. So most of it, and I identify as a spirit having an African woman experience. I want to know about African descendants racialized as black people that believe that are my business, they're not my people. It don't matter what my DNA say. That's why I don't check my DNA, because I don't care what the DNA say. My reality, how I present, the people that want to raise me, identify as black people. So my granny and my grandpa, even though my grandpa on my past side, that me identifiable Spanish man, I meet him once or twice. I don't really know the man. He never invested in my liberty. So even though he blood in my vein, never invest. My pa invested in my liberty. So I know that DNA in me. For him, marry me a black woman. We trace him back 7 generations, indigenous, African, and one European. And then condone the black people. For my side, the Jamaica, I think Barbados. But black people. I don't need no DNA to tell me who me. I know the people that want to invest in me. And that's why as a aware African being, I recognize our African ancestors and ancestors. We the energy, we the vibrate even after the flesh gone. So my mom is my biggest ancestress. Communicate with me consistently through dreams and then it manifests in the flesh. And I said for the Christians, I said, just like on say on God on the Spirit, on call it the Holy Spirit, on deal with the Holy Spirit. The same thing. For on got Holy Spirit, I got the Spirit of a woman. So they're not for look for the things then what divide we at the work pan that's years of indoctrination at the work pan that. They will find the things that we have in a common. My gosh, you know that day and here, what 30 minutes at a talk. The phone number is 2805848, and I know to tell me, YaYa, many times when you're at the talk and when you call, that because of the listen, I know. But it's tough, and I like my mouth. A band, I want to gift. Talking, I want to gift. And so, besides, I mean, people have different gifts in their life. You know, like some people could just open their mouth and sing. Some people could swim. Some people could swing one machine. Some people could look upon the sky and say, whether they come, like I am. Then people just, especially captains of boats and farmers, then are people where I have mad respect. I just think that they're so intelligent, brilliant, real beings. Well, I just want to say people have different gifts. One of mine is that for talk. And so, it come natural to me. And then because I was, again, that's why I want always work for Belizean people. Always. For the rest of my life and even at the spirit world. Because you only could call the spirit based on the example of what I live in. So if you know me to do works in the flesh, then when I transition into the spirit world, because I did the work for African descendants racialized as black people that believes and globally, because this is my calling, this is the work what I do. When I transition into the spirit world, and for those who accept that this is real, I only need guidance. Just like when they call me or text me and say, yeah, in the spirit world, and call me, and I show up. That's why it's so important for name your people, for call your people name. Like Jean Davis Marin is our mother. And even though I know this real, she's my closest ancestress until I start to have these engagements with her, then I fortified with it at different levels of vibration. So I just say, we sure them people were raised we. We know them. We know what them pour into we. So the same way them care for we when them in a flesh, then I continue to look out for we in a spirit world. So you trust the process. So I said to Belizean people, we get what we organize for. Take some time and be still. And be honest with yourself. Look upon the circumstances and the surroundings we are born in. And ask yourself what I could do to change my reality. And it could be something as different as when you wake up in the morning, before everybody else gets up. And a lot of Belizean people do it, especially when people anyway smoke weed. And you meditate. You think about what happened in the past. How it impact your life negatively or positively, or high vibration or low vibration. Be honest with yourself. Look upon the people and what they're wrong you. And start off with your family members, because the toxicity now with dysfunctional families. Be honest. You have to be real with your family members and yourself. So I don't need nobody to tell me my dirtiness, because me and the Creator know it. Nobody know it like me and the Creator. Know that. So I know my dirtiness. I have to live with the harm I create in other people's lives. So that when other people harm me, I ask myself, yeah, who you may harm? Karma come back. These are my individual journey. So I just said, the same thing I do for me, I'd encourage other Belizean people to do for themselves. There's no way an individual could create meaningful changes in any community if you not work upon yourself intentionally, genuinely, consistently. You could only give where you live. And healing now a process for the rest of your life. And so I just said for we Belizean people, only the people want to save the people, you know. That not just one mantra, that the real talk. Nobody they can save we. Nobody. I can share my affirmation with you for the day, and then we're going our break. Nobody call. Okay, only to listen. I intentionally write, well, both our parents, both of our parents, I have 3 siblings with the same parents. Then I have other siblings with different parents. But Jean Marin and Roque Marin are modeled. Like they practice this every day. They read every single day. And remember, our mother went to England with my older sister. I born there. And so at a young age, my ma get exposed to first world living, different realities. So when she come back to Belize, her worldview different. And so they were avid readers, active community workers, like that are how we live, active community workers. And so that influenced we as their children. So I can tell you what affirmation, and my mother Christian all her life, so that our part of learn about devotion in the morning, devotion in the night, our daily bread, Bible, prayer, feeding that tea, steeping in the indoctrination of Christianity. I never got a choice then, but when I get older, I make a different choice. So my affirmation for today say, stay close to people who love you enough to be your mirror. Stay close to people who love you enough to be your mirror. Not surround yourself with amen people. Surround yourself with people who genuinely want to see you thrive, want the best for you. At this phase in my life, when I go into my 59th season, I want the wrong people who are really, genuinely happy to see me when I come and sad to see me when I go. And I want people who are happy when I see them, they come to me, and I sad when I see them, they go. I want high vibration people around me who are intentional in their growth, who are honest with themselves, and reflect that in how they handle themselves, them people, and the wider community. Why? I'm there for I'm gonna rostrum today because we're not calling. It's 2 cents come time, and 2 cents come is brought to us by Fort Point Security. I hope that one live, fresh 2 cents come Brick City, and I don't know repeat. Let's go to 2 cents come make us see what happened. Kim, I know Rapper gonna get me tea, so I drink my tea right now. Kim, grab and go for Mahogany Street. Big thanks to Kim, Keller, the extended family.
You're watching WB, and this is XTV. I got to say big respect to our sponsors, 4 Point Security. Now, each and every day we did our work. These are my 2 cents. Each and every day we did our work, we hear drumming, and we hear the drum set they go on bad. Sound like a band. So I decided, you know what? Make I find out the 2 cents where they go in a band there, and all the nice, what they make. You ever hear about nice before? All right. So here they go on. We're going to find out the 2 cents. All right? It's a special edition. Let's go find out the 2 cents. Wait a minute. Anyway, you deal with any among youths, right? As a producer, we deal with artists. We decide
Morning Vibes. The phone number is 280-5848. 280-5848. And I'll call and talk to it again and check. And I never think about this before until I say it just now. So our dad, who's 85, came back from London in 1967. Evan X. Hyde came back from the United States in 1968. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, X might have been the first Belizean to get an open scholarship, and I think that is a scholarship from the U.S. Embassy. But X, you go call me and make I know. And X, for a number of people, want to get these colonial papers known as degrees. And I said to people, remember when you go to most of the institutions, you're being taught from a European worldview. That's not the only worldview in the world. You have indigenous and you have African worldview, that people experience, engage the earth, human beings, differently. But because most of we don't know nothing about the people and we nurture, we care for where we come from, we, by line, hook and sinker, the European model worldview, ways of being, we want to look like them. We have the highs and lows, like in the 60s, in the civil rights movement, in the late 60s, 68, the one a year, where African descendants racialized as black people, Afros, male and females, dashikis, black power sign, learning more about them blackness and embracing them blackness, and that's the way United Black Association for Development did under the leadership of a number of people. Evan X. Hyde happened to be one of the people where a lot of people know about because, well, he and primarily the Hyde family were invest to make zinc fence there. I forget the name of it. There's a, you don't have to get a UBAD book. You don't have to get a UBAD book that came out last year, March, I think, where we'll have other UBADers sharing for them perspective about the engagement with the organization. Because X is the publisher of the Mandela newspaper, the leading newspaper in the country, highest circulation, 56 years, August 13, 2025. We get to hear one lot from him. And we never hear really mostly from the other people. And so this book, I think that UBAD Conversations, I encourage you to forget the book. I also encourage you to forget, I think it's called Sports, Sin and Subversion, where tell you about the history of sports in Belize. And that's why it's so important for we write. Remember, forget Kenny Morgan book of poetry as well. That's why it's important for we tell our own stories. I'm again that a poetry book released the Bliss last Wednesday. And it was memorable because, oftentimes people, I hear about how awesome people are when they're in the box or the ashes in front of you. Morning, caller, thanks for calling. Give me mouth one break. Talk to it.
Yeah, good morning. So where can I get an African American degree from?
Brother, I graduated from 2 historically black universities. They call HBCU, Historically Black College and Universities in the United States. Hampton University, which is a private university in Hampton, Virginia, and Florida A&M University, which is a public university in Tallahassee, Florida. Now, I tell people, if you have the opportunity, I remember now, I take out loan, I worked at a university, so that's how I get my higher education.
Right.
And I went for a stint at a traditional white institution, never again. But the difference in going to an HBCU is you're not just a social security number. You're not just there to get a colonial paper. Your whole being is nurtured. They got issues like everybody else, but it's a total different experience. So you want to have, go ahead, brother. So I just said that a difference. There's a difference in going to an HBCU.
HBCU is a black school. You got Spelman, all those schools over there on the East Coast. A lot of Jackson State are black schools, but they're still considered colonial degrees. I went to school for sports, for scholarship. I only spend 50% of my time in class. What you say, it doesn't mean, because I'm playing sports. I really didn't learn nothing in school. I passed on everything, but 50% of the time, I'm on the practice field and everything. But having It makes you know how to brainstorm more in life. You're universal. You could talk about every aspect of life. You don't want to be one-sided or one-tracked in this world. You got to be universal. And that's one thing that a colonial degree gives you that background to be universal. You could talk about any topic in the world. You want to talk about anthropology, political science, astronomy. It gives you that structure. You don't want to be one-sided in life.
But brother, I know
yeah.
Belizeans, we could tell her right now. We're gone to school that Belize in the 60s. We want to tell you how knowledgeable they were. Like, I know two sisters were graduated from Wesley, I guess, in the 60s, Wesley High School. And for their knowledge of Caribbean history, for their knowledge of world history, then listen to, I think, Voice of America. They're in a high school in the 60s. But for their knowledge of the world, they never got no internet. I mean, awesome musicians, write music, play music, excellent sports. There are people without colonial papers, you know. So I said to we, not get caught up in this colonial papers. There were brilliant, intelligent Belizeans who contributed to us and the shaping of this country without colonial papers. So the issue right now with them colonial papers, people, brother. And I born me out. I say, yeah, I got mine.
Yeah.
The difference is, the difference. I don't mind, brother, if you really go for it because they want to improve your quality of life. But I have an issue when you do that without working on knowing who you are as a human being. Because if you just got colonial papers, you that just one black person with a white mask, you just last. You have to know yourself.
Sometimes I find it as a hustle too when you get your colonial degree. I mean, for example, if you get an AS degree, that's considered 60 units. But by the time you get finished with all of your requirements, you did about 85 units instead of 60. So you spent $25 with 25 units worth of more money. So it's all a hustle too. Even with a bachelor's degree, it takes 120 degrees. But by the time you get through with your degree, you already did about 155 units. So you spent about 35 units on wasted time. So yes.
Well, for me, what I've always liked about school is the socialization of it.
I'm going to take it up to here.
All right, brother, respect. For me, the greatest part of schooling has always been the socialization process. Always. The engagement with people, that's the best part. So the few of us who are fortunate enough, Gina Scott, forgot the Miss Hall Kindergarten from Wagner's Lane. And this would have been late 60s, early 70s. I was nurtured, and along with a lot of the Belizeans, we were able to go there, nurtured, disciplined. I mean, as a young person at that age, and I got myself, I think when I was 4 years old, but I have vivid memories. Traumatized too, because she did lash with sash card at 4 and 5-year-old children. But because of the importance of the arts, creativity, because we just have grand production, the Bliss and St. Mary's Hall. Grand production. And so, because they say, I don't want, I like talk, I'm usually the star. In a lot of things that me are the star. And that's because you learn how to talk, how to move, about costumes, about stage presence, about audience. So besides having a natural ability, I was nurtured to take up space, to feel comfortable in any environment, no matter who the people are, and no say, only the people and I the people. Anywhere I go in the world, nobody not intimidate me, nobody not got no upper hand for me. I don't care what their last name, what you look like, what colonial papers you have. I ain't no business. Because like my Angela said, when I come, I bring my African ancestresses and ancestors. That's a part of literacy. Oral presentation, able to express yourself, having the courage to do it. And so, I just want a lot of people to chase degrees. And are really degrees without temperatures. Because when you listen to one lot of people, too much, we have colonial papers. I mean, if you just listen to them when they talk, most of them, they're like, I can't tell where you're going to get it for. You don't hear our original thought. You're not hearing the have conversations that make people uncomfortable with what we need to have. So they're not because I just burn out the colonial papers, the degrees. But if all you do that, go for degrees, because you equate that for make more money, and then have more material things and material experiences, you know the help we as a community. You're not. It's important that you know who you are, who you genuinely are. And that's why I talk about the internal work that one way of life. And that complements your learning. And you don't have to be colonial people. Some of the most, I tell people, my experience, the wisest people I know never finished primary school. The most ignorant people I know, like lack of knowledge, that people will have colonial papers. And some of them, once they've done their colonial papers, they don't pick up another book. You're not sitting the reason with people who know differently from them or more than them in things that are not for their interests. You know that thing that's true, show me your friends and I know who you are. You're not finding with independent thinking people, critical thinkers, bold people who got your back when you're not popular for got your back. But we the Belizean people. And we, the parents, the guardians, the adults, we fail with children. They keep dressing up and sending to school. Brother Cliff just remind me, today the first day back to school after Easter break. I completely forget. The first day of school after Easter break. I wonder how much children over the Easter break spend quality time having adults or parents read to them, or the children read to the parents. I wonder how much of them write out grocery lists. How much of them read the labels pan the things they buy for say, I say what we put in for we body. Then I was saying, if you can't pronounce the word pan the label, that's a good indication for you enough to put that in your body. But that's easier said than done if you just struggle to get something to eat. That poem where Kenny Morgan read, but two sisters, Miss Millicent or Miss Mildred, granddaughter, that I really value his storytelling of Belizean people truths. I tell you, I really need to have some audio recording because poetry is to, and I think he said too, poetry is to be heard. I like when the person and that if the person know themselves, because again, it could just be somebody else to read on a poem, which I find to be true most of the time, and I just check out mentally. I really want, because Kenny Morgan has lived these experiences, and it, as in, it happened to him, he observed it, he hear it, he know about it. So that's what he experienced. So that's why he could write how he write, and a lot of them in a Creole, because that's the way he live. Nobody could tell you a story like you. 2805848. 2805848. This is our first, that people are calling. And I tell you, it's hard. I come prepared. Trust me, I come prepared. I also say, I batter up for WB for about 17 years. Oh, 17 years. This never happened yet that I had talk so long and nobody not calling. But I have to practice before agreements. I have to tell myself constantly to change the way I think. And the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your words, don't assume, don't take anything personal, always do your best. So I have to constantly, when the phone not ring, for remember my 4 agreements, and that I came prepared for have talking today. I may have one guest scheduled, but my guest not come true, so that's how that go. It's 5 minutes to 8, so in about 5 minutes, we're going the break. And since the morning started, I've been talking about, did I tell you no, I gone and I checked, and yeah, X did come back from the US in 1968 with a bachelor's degree in English. And what make X at that time period different is that most people come back with colonial papers or degree, go work for the establishment, then go in at the system. X gone teach, gone to the streets. Caller, thank you for calling. Talk to it, please.
Yes, sir. Yep.
That's why I love you, black man. Evan X Hyde, birthday Wednesday. Tell me, brother, talk to it.
Then you like me much more. They keep quiet. The first thing that happened is that Steve the Goo was called for cake. I didn't make no cake for nobody.
I don't blame Group for call for cake.
Yeah, Goo.
But you know that's a big deal, you know. Yeah, I know the family we're married into and celebrate Earth Day, and I recognize that, I respect that. At the same time,
No. Well, but the main thing is this, no? The least 5 minutes of that. In my old age, especially when we have like the one natural disaster like hurricane, or let's say the house, my house, 37 years old.
how much?
37 years old. The roof was built, start built in 1984. And we moved in 1987, but we never finished. But I mean, try Dodge rent somewhere else, right? But the thing is that you take one man like Roger Rashford,
Rapper.
them man they have skills very relevant to our lives. They can work with their hands. Like you, they only plumbing. When you know a plumbing problem, there are emergency. Right or wrong?
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, when you look for them, people will talk about the colonial papers, right? You go and you study something when they call liberal arts. The America, the first degree is important. That one just be the foundation. You do, for argument's sake, political science, then you have the law. Then you do, when you're going on to do a master's in a business, or you're going on to do medicine and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So when I look back for some of the material when it teach me, and I find it relevant to life as we live it in and believe. But if you catch up on when you teach you can get in a society, not only here but over there. So you go on and you do your masters and then you do your PhD and you smoke one pipe. That's an important part of thing then is smoke one pipe and you have one certain kind of accents and stuff like that. But the concept of education, the basic, I think I told you this already. There are basic disagreements between Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois way back in at the beginning of the 20th century. I used to dig against Booker T. I say, well, Booker T no one challenge white supremacy. But Booker T may stress the stuff like the land of the technical, IT, and so on. So right now I give big respect to Arindra IT West because then it teaches practical skills very relevant to improving your life, you know what I'm saying? And the colonial papers, people, there are a lot of abstract talking, as we all say, and things like that. So I just call in for you and a few minutes break because then they kill you.
Thanks, brother. I love your ex. I value all the work we do and continue doing for. You see what I tell about you got good people in your circle? Brother Carl, bail me out.
One dog.
One love. Big talking that, you know, I want to stretch talking after this break. Everyday people where I had to tell you, I know everybody got them person in the community, but rapper, so I laugh and I say near Roger Rushford, a more European you could song. I mean one brother where, besides being a phenomenal dancer, skilled. I mean, if rapper don't know how to do it, he can figure it out. And I mean anything, you paint, electrical, plumbing, anything, change and like anything rapper. And I know we have a lot of people like hands-on people, indeed, like except big respect to Orange Walk IT Vet. I mean, why the other IT Vet that they perform like Orange Walk? Because of the people they in a leadership. And they care about what they do. They don't just want a paycheck. Big respect to Orange Walk IT Vet. Now, Evan X Hyde on the phone. Bail me out because I got 5 more minutes to talk, I see. And take click. We'll take a break and then we'll come back.
Prepare for the heat and stay cool with a Reamer Gree air conditioner.
Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes talk show here at XTV behind the zinc fence. The number to call, 280-5848, 280-5848. It's 10 past 8. So we have another 15 minutes with one another. Somebody called just now during the break. Oh, we did a break. X called just now before we went to break and make the valid point of how much people was killed. Everyday people. I really admire, I admire everyday people, especially when they learn one skill, what a bona fide skill, without no kind of papers. Then I'm somebody helper, then just get better at it, then keep doing it. If they're in a construction work, then start as a laborer, and then they move up into the crew, and then get better at it. I have mad respect for sisters and brothers with everyday labor. I really do, because that the people who make the world go wrong, that they, then at the pyramid, at the bottom of the pyramid. And so this constantly chasing off and then getting in debt to get colonial papers. Because most of we can't afford to pay for it unless you find out how the system works and apply for a fellowship or a scholarship or a grant or loans. And that puts you in that the United States, much with colonial papers, can't get a job. You have people that believe with colonial papers at a call center. And really, the evidence of you engaging the system to get colonial papers should show up in how you carry yourself, how you move, how you be. There should be that a part of learning. And so most people get in the establishment system or then go work for themselves. So when our dad came back, he gone back to the survey department. Morning, talk to me.
My name is Sister.
Tell me.
From Taboo, Good.
Who?
I was calling a couple when I listen to Pablo from informative information that you need to get. I have from our budget personal sector. I have to follow it. So I mean, fully understand a lot of things because when I go to the full educational level when they have the opportunity. So in my school years, I think I'm going to pay much attention to my teacher. So I never remember I'm a student. But I'm saying that to say that wasn't one of the smartest students in America. I found myself the bottom section of my class then, because then I didn't pay attention. And most of the things I end up with in the teach, we don't have to give all the full information, get to attention, not so that we could pay attention to them, so that we could learn, and we class having probably about 30% students. So I don't think the teacher would put enough emphasize, the teaching or pay attention to other stuff. But she would more like they pay attention to the one way, the brightest one who put interest in the work. So to say that, to say what you were saying, know that I am a big adult now, and seeing where I'm in a society that I am more smarter person, knowing that I could read better and take the interest when I leave studies or maybe things I need to go for to get me better in a society because I know what I'm to pass for a certain level of education. I'm grateful and thankful to know that I could do my work and why I need to put in work with enough education, enough to read anything or to company. I'm normally not to a new level. But I was just saying that to say this, because when I budget in a school, and I'm very influential in our society. And the reason why I call it because the topic was about, the educational wise and stuff like that, and the paper world. So that's in the world now, and some kind of paper you call it paper something.
Colonial papers.
Colonial papers.
That the colonizers, that the European the majority.
So it got to go with educational or social and something before learning at that time, right? So knowing that to say that I just forget about the band that was tuned in a really decent camera, maybe one about I head that band. Right now I'm not hearing them, I'm not really paying attention much because like what I said, many times I go on the ear and I go even go in 2 hours with someone. I'm very sure if I'm a singer, so sponsors and donation to make you could get something of different things like the band fair or the 21st parade and the Christmas parade and stuff, and we don't really get support. So more majority of my youth say to people that really band behind us in there was in different bands because we never have it in the so put up a really group of them by sponsors and donation and so and things like that. So then after like one after different band groups from me. Clear one and then clear 2 and and things like that. But I always try pushing on my society. I would have done him now. So when I left our family, I was left my Marin and I one more and I left to go back to Martin. Work with the students when I youth. I left family to go over 8 o'clock every day if I were it. Right now, I'm not stop to show some of my instruments there, so I doubt about half of it. Problem where I'm not with those children, I'm not a problem like that. So I have a problem with 4 instruments, and I usually have a play on it, I open a phone, with it, and stuff like that. So I have a problem with thousands of instruments I have, and I have issues with getting sponsors and donations from the league group and around South and around getting a different stuff. But I'm not letting them go. I know I need to continue to help and use this so that they have something to look forward to. Because when you ban avenue like that, I have one of the youth from going into the street and falling into these gangs of guilty. So I could continue hold my focus with continually there and seek family assistance from different business institutions or governmental representatives and help the youth there so that we will get instruments that will get more better equipment. Because that's a real equipment I get around and real time. But most of the young people are used to the play. But the one thing when I try, I have to piece of things fire, a piece of things fire there. So I to get the instruments to play now. So majority of the youth they have some kind of one instrument. But they don't have that instrument, but together all of them some good. So we want people to look into this interest of this group or these youth because the promoter's name every day we play them. I got there set some back Martin with after some here because I got a lot of people why influential because I don't need to back at those ball, like no ball, Panel, I got you go and play my this tournament. So I got that's a really good get together and try to remain focused to something positive in your life. That's why people look into this and how they could help with getting new youth. I right now we want to sponsor the yesterday for help, but I'm writing up some letters and drafting up certain things to be able to get certain things going out. Like what I say, I got a lot of focus on youth and I think God gave me the opportunity to help them when I could and I got the opportunity and the skill and I don't mind take my time to go do something positive with it to make the youth have something to look forward to for the future. So I always got the come radio and you are who always go to the give value avenues of education and whatever they're going to pick up and to help about the work. So I always used to help me when I was a young drummer. Give me my drum pick every year, find me a drum shop, rest them really good. And after some time start, I first day come open back the Martin Deck, I'm going to write it in the container. I really won't take me, the shop. So I know they know me good, I know them good. So,
respect, brother. Yeah, original Cremites.
So I also have support to the youth there, because we want to go forward and we need to make a center, but we need to assist us to get more instruments and I want to know what to store some instruments when even done. So I have to work out with instruments and to know with some instruments.
Respect, brother. I'm going to say that original Cremites. Big respect as a black man that you take time away from your family. You left so early that morning, get back late at night, and pour into your community. If you could give out your phone numbers, and especially the holla for the Belizean diaspora people, where, and this is one of the issues I have, brother, right?
Yeah.
The colonial papered people then go in and work for an established non-governmental organization, then want to register an organization, get the bank account, and because they got colonial papers, and then know the ins and outs of the establishment bureaucracy, know that they want to run your thing. Now the everyday people like you, we come from communities where no way they used to go through, because you gone through it. We don't register no organization. That not mean said that only not deserve to have access to funding where establishment people have. There has to be, they have this thing what they call flexible funding, where the requirement for get funding not as steep as establishment. Right now, I'm fortunate, but this has to do with legal matters. It's called the Legal Empowerment Fund. Because of the work where you have to, they ask me and people from other countries in the Caribbean to come together and design the package for people to apply for funding. Like I said, for their funding is looking at environmental matters and legal matters. But just to set you in this process and to learn more about flexible funding. Now, at minimum, brother, you need to have one bank account for the work we do. You have that?
Yes, ma'am, I have a bank account, but I work in a bank personally today. So my youth club, I have a club where everything falls.
Okay, you need that.
Everything just around.
You need that. I need to have one separation from your personal one.
Definitely.
So that are one of the things that even in a flexible funding, you have to have two things in ASFA. You have to have one registered name and you have to have one bank account. Because then the funder have to give account to who they get their money from to say, this is how I get the money. So most of we people not even know the process. So to say, people like Sticks, people like Dara, on the need for register, and then just over a year ago and gone through a whole process of registration where I just headache. But for access funding, like meaningful money, even if the 5,000 Belize dollars, that is still meaningful money for we don't got 5,000 Belize dollars right now. You need to have one registered organization and you need to have one bank account. If you don't have that, then you need to have one organization who have that and willing to be the middle person for honor. But my issue with the middle organization is the middle organization get to a certain amount of money to manage the money for you. You see what I mean? When if you don't register and have one bank account, you may get more money.
Yeah, more direct, definitely. And then to direct. Yeah. Yeah, I understand, and the results like what I say, going back again with the educational levels that I had and never have, the both ways, concluding the process of getting this bank account and these things, but I know the process now because that's what I put in the work, and I put in and I've tried all the legal work I need to get the information so I know the next step to next. So what is my next avenue right now to get my club registered? And everything that I is doing will fall under one club. So basketball, football, band, and fall under my club that registered, which will be like YaYa Finance and YaYa is my football meet, sports meet. So YaYa will be my name in a whole, so all my sports, the junior, the senior, the football, but the travel club. So you need to be structured rightly, and I figure things will follow get better, and I'm going to get everything whatever. I'm just stating that I am somebody who is willing to help the youth, and I don't know that, I'm about to be so by get everybody doing his work, reason or purpose, and for sure have skills and talent, to make it useful to something good. But still it is going at time, and I'm proud of it because God will make a way for each of us in everything we do as long as we do it with the right mentality or with the right purpose. I'm just putting the state and continue to help these youth from time to time, like I say, I'm not with them, but yesterday, they might not even know. Yesterday, me and somebody was talking about bank, because they know that other one of the youth were pushed down the most, and now we let you go from my way, so bank to another level. So we were thinking of talking about getting these youth, or getting my youth together and for information or to implement to get the better. So behind the scenes, they don't know things work. So God is always going to make with me, and I give all the glory to Him because, get before God is nothing but power. So you can't say one band before
brother. Put your number out there so if people want to link
My
you.
number is 626-6887.
And what's your name?
26-6887. WUB. Drummer, cyclist, boxer. You name everything on top of what now I do that. I got two. So, okay, brother, you was doing a certificate to different sections why and different classes of platform. So, I've been done a lot in my week time and I want to pass out to my royal arm to you to do.
Respect, brother. Thanks for the call and for the community reasoning. One love.
Same to you, take care.
It's 8:25. We have another 5 minutes for make we reason. And I would say the conversations we've had today are really about Belize and the wider Belizean community, and that inclusive of Belizeans living in the diaspora. That we need to be honest about our reality and we're part we there as a country right now, and where we hope for the future. What kind of Belize we imagine, what we want for ourselves and our children. Like, we ever sit down and think about what kind of Belize like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we never imagined we were on the power. We did most of our quality of life now improve. Like, what are your values? What you would want to see different in your life, in your family life, in your neighbor life, in your community life for the country of Belize? I mean, Belize Territorial Volunteers gone down the Gracias a Dios. I believe that Gracias a Dios thing gone. And that the over, then I look on the markers, and 30th of April, 1859, so that's 166 years ago, one of the marker get put down. And they're showing how, I mean, at the state, the things like that, you know. But then when you see the state, they consistently fail, and then the state get comfortable because the state is not being held accountable. That means the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, all the ministers, especially the one with our cabinet ministers, we need for holding accountable. Now, that's easier said than done. We know victimization is real. But if we not do it, who want to do it? And things get worse up. You see the face in the certain people? For increase the cabinet secretary and the CEO's salary, it done bad that they do it, right? They got a face a brass to say, retroactive it to the 13th of March. I mean the 13th of March, the day after general election. I don't know how one of the politicians are going it there. I don't see how one are going it there. Me and politician, they're not friend. As a professional, if I have to engage you doing work on behalf of our people, I want to engage you. But me and politician, whether in a government or not, we are not friends. Because the only bad word we consistently for the own benefit, at least in my lifetime. Me not enjoy a breath. If me sit and me cross the street, that's how I live. When I happy with you, when I please with you, you want to know because of how I treat you. When I not happy with you, when I not pleased with you, you want to know because of how I treat you. I ain't want a reasoning with someone because I waste of time. But we Belizean people have to teach people how to treat we. We can't accept this bad behavior from political leadership, from business leadership, from religious leadership, from within our families. Leadership on every level, bottom up. Terrible, I believe. We can't blame what youth say. That's the example what we set. We want beat up the picnic, cuss them up, handcuff them, send them to jail. How they get so? And that's why I really value my affirmation today. Where it says, stay close to people who love you enough to be your mirror. You have to tell yourself the truth by yourself, and the people, if they care about you, they want to tell you the truth by yourself. Whether it's a high vibration or low vibration. And be open to listen. Now some people project, you know. I listen to people, but not everything what people tell me because I know me. But if you don't know yourself, you want to steady feed other people's perception of you. And if you know you, but if you want to know yourself, you seek other people validation. You want people like you. You want popular. You want to do with people. I have never, ever. I'm very community aware, but I've always been selective when it comes to my personal space. Always. I could see myself as a child at 10 years old. We had 2 bunk beds in a room. I got 3 sisters. I sit down on the top bunk. I don't want nobody touch me. Bunk. I don't want nobody talk to me. I have always nurtured and enjoyed my own company, and I'm good with it. I like the wrong people, you know. But I spend a lot of time by myself, and I love my own company. Start to spend time by yourself. Looking at the mirror and telling yourself the truth about yourself. Looking at your own eyes and tell me what I want to say. It's 8:30. It's break time.
Ya balisi seruti
welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this morning, Monday, April 28, 2025, week 18 of the Gregorian calendar year 2025. Give thanks to the callers we're calling for the reasoning. For the text that I get just now, thanks, brother, for your support. The number is 2805848. Another thing we need for church talking about. When I tell you, trust me, I know I'm not the only person who said anything. I'm not the only person who said it privately or publicly, so I know that. I may say it differently, but I'm not the first, and I'll be the last. I can get that straight right now. When I tell you nobody not to look out for Belizean people interests, the evidence show they're not to look out for we. That's why we, the people, have to be intentional in learning with self, identifying with values, what we can do and what we're not willing to do, at what cost we're willing to do or not willing to do, and organize, advocate in a for we best interests. It always, for me, it matters that people tell their own stories. They say, hey, I have 2 cents scam, brother Harlan just gonna drag me up. And I like when people hold me accountable because I know how that sister put to right. Make I know that 2 cents come to the dam, a fresh 2 cents come. Respect is due. That's enough for the owner. Forgot fresh 2 cents come every day. Life happens and I don't have it, but once I start to say repeat 2 cents come, I got issues. So respect to Brick City and Harlan. We come in yesterday for make sure we got a fresh 2 cents come to them and guy in the community. And then reason up with the black youth then for that marching band and the brother Carlina polished that off. So big respect to that Harlan and Brick City. Now, when I say only the people want to save the people, I tell you no, I had an issue with Belize Water Services, and so I ended up the public utilities company, the regulator. Well, I never overstand. And if somebody know the answer to this question, call me. The number is 2805848. I don't know when it was initially called Water and Sewage Authority. That's why here some will still say WASA. Now it's Belize, Belize Water and Sewage Limited. And then you have Belize Electricity Limited. And then you have the telecommunications. Those are the utilities that the Public Utilities Commission regulate. What I never know is that the public utilities only regulate as it relates to tariffs when they want charge for the utilities. Belize Public Utilities Company no got nothing to do with the internal day-to-day operations of the utility companies. Nothing. So, when you have somebody like me, and a lot of somebodies like me, we have one issue with one of the utility companies, we don't have no way to go outside of the company, apart from the company, different from the company. We could hear our grievance, our concern, our complaint, and that there will be a fair process for investigate and come to a reasonable or one fair conclusion. Nothing. Now this is where I want somebody to call and tell me. When WASA and when BEL, when they create their laws, where YaYa laws create, and when they create PUC, because how could they not think that the consumers, now the employers of these utility companies, have one right to have their grievances heard independently of the company, and one fair process for right one wrong? I had to tell you, no, listen to me. I got so much work, and let's be clear. 95% of the work what I do, that me do the work. Morning, talk to me.
Yeah. Greetings.
Greetings.
I call for a different subject. You see what happened when it got passed in Africa?
What's that?
Macron tried to Abraham Troy.
Yes, I saw that.
The whole world to wake up. The whole world. All over.
You see how for him people then come out, because I say one interview where they ask people in the streets how they feel about that. And then they make it no straight and plain. We didn't hold the other African leaders accountable. They should have been the first one for line up for defending. But again, all our skin folk, all our kinfolk, so some of them don't sell out already. But they kill off enough African leaders. I hope they're not successful.
Yeah, they call it bad and man, but it's a clear stuff.
What you say?
Call it bad. The president of Call it bad. And then the coup they migrate to Rome to.
And again, a lot of static from you, brother. But I really appreciate that you pay attention to the continent of Africa. You have to do something with that noise in the background, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really pleased to hear to pay attention to the continent of Africa and what happened there and call in and make we know. Then after we people, you know.
Sometimes I think Belize that the backward Caribbean countries were joined, but the giant force with them. Jamaica, Barbados.
Brother, remember now, our skin folk aren't with kinfolk. So when I look at CARICOM, what I want utter failure. When I look at the African Union, we want Israel be one observer. I raise my eye, brother. Who them people are, brother?
I want to think with Africans. But we say Belize that I think with Africans. Yeah. We need some more educational paper on who we are, trying to speak on who we are. Some people are offended when I tell them we're African. Yeah.
I hear you, brother, because they're deeply mentally enslaved, so we have to be patient with them because now a process.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the call.
I was looking for you to mention it quite a while, but then you just come on. So, and I just stepped in and decided to give you a call.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
One love. Guidance.
Yeah, Terry.
Remember, you could call and change the subject and talk about anything. I stay very much local right now. My brother really there, and it's a well said. CARICOM leaders are wimps, failures, least Barbados. So I'm going to talk about the utility companies. So I want somebody to tell me when the utility company for the water and sewage and for electricity, when were those laws drafted, and why we don't have nothing in the laws for the protection of Belizean citizens? Now when I tell you I have ton load of work for though, and me create most of the work. This I know, the only paid job I have that's under review. That's the only paid job I have. Everything else that work where I drawn to me and I do it. And most of that work are not paid work. Morning, talk to me.
Yes, Mr. Strange. Yeah.
Brother, when I'm here, Belize Territorial volunteer in the house. Long time after election, I know I want to go out your way and pay me.
Yeah. So this morning, but you know you hear me, but I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
You make news. You and Belize Territorial volunteers make news, no?
Yes. Over the weekend, we got up to the to the monument, and it's just such a beautiful river. If we want to develop tourism in our country, that's the perfect place to develop it, man. You've been up there before to the monument, so you know how that river is so beautiful, and we just gotta keep on protecting it. But I want to just give thanks to all the people who supported us to go there, because it's a far area, so it's a very expensive trip. It's not like going to the forward operating base at the Sarstoon. This is going deep down, way up into the Sarstoon. So we can't do that if we don't really have the support of the people. So give thanks to all the people who send Ali get on a gas here and Ali get on a gas there, because it adds up, But yeah, it was a really, really great trip. No interference from the gap. I don't know if we catch them off guard or what, but yeah. But we also had the escort of the BDF. They went with us from the beginning to the finish. So I pick them up for that, then guys, they have some guys in the Belize Defense Force. So really they with it, They want to defend this land. They want to defend our borders. They're just so disappointed in fact that they erupts not all the time, have them back
show, I just show on video where me share in the chat group on the waters and some of the pictures. Want to take one of them out there. But one of the things, and it made, that was a part of our news package this morning. But one of the things where I just like bad word, brother, what ain't going on with then if we be there soldiers in a tent out there, brother?
Yeah, I mean, you know, things like that. I think that when you join the military, yes, you accept some hardships, but you also show that a human being gets some comforts as well. You know? But I mean, like, you know, we hopefully that we could, like, you know, we highlight these things so that our troops could be better off. But you know, we have to also give recognition to the fact that they provided us escort. Because if they never provide no escort the way the world is right now, we never going, and Belizeans may start to forget about this part of the country. Because you know, the Guatemalans, they're in with the administration up north there, so they could do anything what they want right now. So we really have to tighten up and really make sure that our resources are safeguarded and we protect what we have and enjoy what we have and promote what we have, so that each and every Belizean could know that yes, it's 8867 square miles of land, but we also have a huge acreage of sea as well.
Brother,
So
I'm really glad.
8867, but not just 8867 land, because we have a lot of land out in the sea as well, which wasn't counted, you know. You know, today you see people like using the land, the seabed, that was not counted in the 8867. So we need to do a assessment and see what really the size of our country is, you know, because they use the land at the bottom of the sea now too.
I really appreciate that you recognize the Defense Force escorting, you know, and what that mean in a real time as it relates to Guatemalan Armed Forces GAF. Not a bad one wanting to come out there, because right now, this is like the perfect time for the ECCAs of what happened at the United States. And, you know, they are the people, we and then are not people. I'm going to look for I can't find it, but I want to see if I look for it during the break. This past Saturday, we had the Belize Bluebonnet Awareness Campaign with the Belize Federation of Fisheries and UBAD Educational Foundation, and George Myvitt, the consultant for BFF, gave the numbers for our, what do you call it? Something like the three different, they have the EZ zone.
Exclusive economic zone, EEZ.
Then they have another, the 3 barrier water from the shore out to the edge of the EEZ zone.
You have the territorial waters.
You have territorial waters, and then you have another one in between. I know I have one picture. That tree. I agree with the point where you make, and initially I hear this part. There it is. I tell you, nobody like Christy. Thanks, Christy. We got the image up on screen right now. We show the maritime areas. And so you have the 3 areas. You have the internal waters, the territorial seas, and the exclusive economic zone. Just for everybody know, because you know how we go well. We got to show ourselves, see ourselves, be ourselves people. And for just make to know how forward thinking, and I never just want UEF decision. When you look at UEF logo for the organization, you want to see the map of the continent of Africa, and you want to see the map of Belize, inclusive of all for we waters. We need to stop to say 8667 and add all the water there to the 8,867 square miles per land. So that's the UEF logo. When you see the green map, that Belize, and then you see the red and the black all the way out to the EE zone. So continue the way they will with the support of all them people. As soon as we recognize some people will buy fuel for, we find the marker. They blow the national anthem by Mount Argan a long time. You see that? Big respect to the organizing efforts, Will here.
Mr. Castillo, yes. The guy who, Mr. Hector Bejarano, when we first, at one time they had this monument hidden in the jungle, right? But this man here who grew up on the star soon, another part of the trip which I think immediately could become a tourist attraction. You know that farm that they always talk about where they play land and anything there, along there on the star soon area, where that guy that was hard-working Belizean, and we stopped at his farm and he Coleman farm is totally 100% self-sustainable on the banks of the Saskatoon River. 99.999% of Belizeans don't know that this exists, but it's out there and such a beautiful area, you know.
Real talk, brother. We have to look for funding for that. Always about the money.
Blue bond, did
We'll make a
we need a way to fit up into that because that covers exactly what we are talking about right now.
Brother, we are just talking about the blue one. I have to go to a break. Big respect to the call to the organizing Belize Territorial Volunteers leader, Wilma here. Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir.
Our love. Last break.
Take a deep breath.
welcome back for the Shut the Shop session. We only have a few minutes. I really want to thank Belizean people primarily for listening today. I don't want a whole lot of talking, but give thanks, I come prepared. And when all else fails, I have my besties right here, my books that I could always read and share from. I've been telling her last week, and I'm prepared. I have 2 more days before Mose comes back next Monday. I'm going to share last week from Discover Old Belize Tongue, Sites and Places of Memory by Andofe Joe Eo, and that one was published in 2005. And then there's one that was published later, I'm not sure of the time frame, but this was under another administration called A History of, I just say, slavery and emancipation in Belize, which is not as comprehensive as the first book. But I was prepared to, and I have a number of books I'm prepared to read from this morning. So give thanks to the callers, those who listened. They want me to listen when they repeat at 3:30 today. Remember to share the link from XTV Belize YouTube and XTV Belize Facebook page. Share it with people so that, you know, we could stay connected and stay aware, knowledgeable. And I'm always call in and change the subject and talk about whatever I want to talk about. And when I come in this morning, the security guard was Roger Rushford, rapper, the brother with the skills and a positive attitude. And now we have Shane Flowers, the Master Chief Operator, Sister Krista Flowers, and Senior Engineer at XTV, Brother Cliff Lewis. That's 77 on my birthday, Saturday now, Cliff. You ain't got cake? X done the Mac Groove, no, said no cake, no, they are Wednesday Groove. Downstairs at Creme Radio, we have Larry Guerrero, known as Larry G. I should be back here tomorrow morning with health and strength. Carla, I got 1 minute. 1 minute, Carla. Talk to me. Oh, well. Carla, gone. So even if I call back now, the time done gone, because that's 1 minute to 9. So yeah, the show will repeat at 3:30 this evening. Remember, students went back to school, so parents, please make an effort for stay engaged with your children. Go to school at least once a week. If you can't go, send a responsible adult. Ask the teachers then for see a child portfolio. You want to see where your child the do in a school. If I say a 90%, ask them what 90% mean. If I say 30%, if I say 0, if I say, ask them what the percentage mean. This is just for pass and fail. You want to ensure that your children are learning and could use what in the land. So parents, teachers, guardians, engage people at school, principals, only set the tone for the school, just like how mothers tend to set the tone for their households. We don't have one duty, like the 2 sisters say yesterday on Sunday Review, one principal job that not for sit on that desk, one teacher job that not for sit on that desk unless you do group work. You need to be up and engaging children. You have to know how to teach. It's called the art of teaching, pedagogy. Stop the fail with children. Like our children are not really genuinely learning or are literate. Anyways, with health and strength, and back tomorrow. Until then, honor the people and save the people.
Wake up, Belize. 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 Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason.